excited today. We have Callaway Golf's chief designer. Is that the correct title?
That's good.
We go by chief designer.
They call me a lot of different things around there. That's probably the nicest thing there.
Legend is another one, but he doesn't prefer that one. But Roger Cleveland is with us. Been with Callaway Golf for 20 plus years now.
Yep, 21 years.
21 years now, and obviously very famous name in golf, Cleveland Golf, which he started back in 1990 or 19.
Yeah, 1900. That's
It was a long time ago. But been with Callaway
1980.
Golf now for 21 years and,
Yep.
and been in the industry for much, much longer than that. So, Roger Cleveland.
Well, it's great to be here. I was here at the Open Championship. What year was that?
1989, Curtis
89.
Strange.
So that was my last time here, and things have changed a little bit for the better. But it's great to be here. So let's get into it. One of the things that I've been doing this last couple of years is trying to communicate that the short game is different, or the short game swing is really radically different than your big swing, and you should recognize the difference. And what I'm talking about are shots, any shot that's like 35 yards in to the green, which is how you score. And the technique is different than your big swing. Can you demonstrate a shot for me?
Sure.
And I'll just, so address a ball and take a big swing like you're going to hit it with your big swing, okay? And take your backswing halfway back, halfway. So back here, right back here.
Got it.
So in the backswing of your full swing, there's no rotation of your arms because you want to hit it hard, okay? You start to rotate the club face as this arm starts to bend and your club face starts to rotate. In a shot where you want to control the distance, you limited distance, okay? You need to get the orientation to get that club head in the right perspective to use the sole on the wedge. So what you have to do, go to your short game stance. So he's going to bring his feet closer together. He's going to bring his left foot or forward foot open. So it presets his hips open, so you want to have freedom of the rotation of your lower body, okay? So what he'll do here is he'll rotate his arms much quicker, okay? His arms have hardly moved at all. Here's the big swing, okay? Arms have moved, no rotation. Your short game, the arms don't move, okay? Away from the body, they stay and they rotate. You see the club face? Okay. That is putting loft on the club, and now from that position, all he has to do is swing the club head through the ball and just rotate. So why don't you hit a couple? Right? Get one more. So this is not a violent act, guys. This is you're caressing this thing. The grip, okay, is very light, okay? You'd have to have, touch. If you hold it really tight, you can't have freedom. You can't have rhythm in your swing. Hit a couple more. You see the rhythm. This is a controlled backswing and follow through. He's abbreviating his follow through a little bit. He's trying to knock the ball down. If he wants to hit it a little bit higher, he'll follow through a little bit more and match. What you want to do is match your backswing strength to your follow through, and that'll create the type of shot that you're looking for. But let's talk about wedges for a second. Let me just interrupt you. This is the shortest club in the bag, the heaviest head of any clubs in the bag. It's about 300 grams and a 60-degree wedge. So we put a sole on it that has an angle, it's called a bounce angle, where the trailing edge is lower than the leading edge. You want to stay away from the leading edge. It's not your friend. You want to use the sole. You want to put it on the ground and use it as a skid plate. Okay? You actually, in pitching the ball, you want to actually start to enter the turf before the ball. On a big swing, this is where the confusion comes. On the big swing, you're hitting the ball first and taking the divot afterwards, or the low point is after the ball. Here on a pitch, you're actually entering before the ball, skidding, allowing the sole to do its work, and then you exit. Okay? If you came down, that's why if you enter before, the shaft can be more vertical. If you're entering the ball right at the ball, the shaft is typically on an angle, okay, de-lofting, okay? But that's big swing. If you notice the address, the shaft is almost vertical. It's not forward. Now, if you wanted to hit it lower, a certain type of shot, move the ball back, the shaft gets a little, gets on an angle, so you're knocking it down. But the rotation with your arms is still the same. If you wanted to hit it high, it would be the opposite. The ball would go forward, the shaft back a little bit, okay? You're going to create more loft. But the rotation is always the same. You really have to rotate.
And Roger, there's a difference between forearm rotation and wrist set, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. You want to have rotation, not a lot of wrist. If you have a lot of wrist set, okay, you have to undo that by the time you get to the ball, and you actually have to slow down. Okay, if you notice some of the players today, they have very little wrist set. Jordan Spieth, Steve Stricker, Jason Day, there's a lot of them that hardly have any wrist. You can have a little bit, okay, but that's how they create the speed. They create the speed with their rotation. And that also keeps their whip. Anytime you have a lot of wrist set, you have to slow down and you get steep, and that leading edge gets into play. And you don't want that. You want to stay wide, okay, tall with for righties, your right side, your right shoulder. You've got to stay tall up here and let the club fall down. Let the club, like gravity, drop the club. Okay.
While we're here, do you want to talk about spin a little bit?
Well, absolutely.
Okay.
One of the things that we do at Callaway, we have 3 different grooves on our wedges. We want the most aggressive spin allowed by the USGA with the higher lofts when you short side yourself. As we get further back into the middle, the sand wedge and the gap wedge, we reduce that spin by changing the side angle of the groove. So we want to reduce the spin. We don't want it ripping back from a back pin. We want to control it. So we have 3 different groove configurations in our wedge set. Okay. The other thing that you should look at is a wedge set. These days, manufacturers like Callaway, like other manufacturers, are making pitching wedges that are much stronger. So pitching wedges are like 45 degrees. So if you use a 60, that's a 60, 15 degree gap. So you have to, that's where you score. Okay, so you have to find out what you want, how many wedges you want, 3 or 4 wedges, meaning the pitching wedge is one of them. So it plays into my hand as manufacturers. I heard a new big manufacturer just came out with a new set of irons where the pitching wedge is 43 degrees. It's going to add another wedge in there. I love it. I got compensated by the wedge. So the spin is put on the club by the speed, okay, that you use. If you create speed, you're going to put spin on the ball. Okay, do you want? So this is the basic shot. I'd like to go in the bunker, and then I'd like to briefly go in a rough to show you some different shots. Well, let's go in the bunker.
All right.
Now, bunker shot is the only shot in golf where you don't want to hit the ball. Right?
Yes.
I know these guys up to it.
Correct.
Okay, so to do that, so I'm gonna let you, because
Okay.
you're really good at hitting these, but let me just address this.
I just got good at hitting these about 20 minutes ago when we
Maybe let
watching
you a little.
this.
We'll see if he is. So if I'm going to take, let's go to the left pin here. If I take the same stance I did in pitching the ball, okay, narrow, I'd be right about there. What I want to do in a bunker is I want to get further away from the ball, okay? So I can shallow out, and I want to widen my stance out because I want to create a base in which to throw this club, okay? Throw the club head into the sand as much as 5 inches behind, 4 inches behind the ball. I don't want to get close to the ball, okay? So I'm going to get back here and take that chunk of sand starting about 5 inches. So when I look at this shot, I look at a patch of sand that I'm going to remove about like that. It's not a perfect science, bunker play. But I'm going to get back here, and this little trick, you got to watch the guy behind you, okay? So I'm going to ask you to put some sand on your wedge and throw it over your shoulder. I bet you.
I can't do it.
Yeah. So what that does is you're looking at the rotation of the club. Here is a pitch shot. Here's your big swing. A bunker is you're really rotating. Your arms. Not your wrists, your arms. So if you do this, you can throw it over your shoulder. Okay? Once you do that, then you release it. You actually release the club head back here. Back about 4 or 5 inches. Don't worry about it. And just let it follow through. Again, you don't have to swing. I'm, senior. You don't have to swing hard. Okay? You just have to follow through. So I'll hit some. We'll have to do contest. You start. See what I have to do.
Yep.
So notice he's setting up. He's going to widen his stance. Okay? Good. On second thought, maybe I won't. Okay, so what he did, what you can do is come back here and analyze his shot where that ball was, and he entered about 5 inches behind the ball. So if you draw a line, if you get in and practice some, you get here, make sure you're further away from it. You can draw a line at the ball if you want, and you can then tell where the sand starts to move. But I would get in here like this, okay.
Oh!
Pretty good. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So this is the easiest, the fastest way to lower your scores. Lower your handicap is your short game. You can go out and take lessons, okay? You can hit it, learn how to draw the ball. But here's where you're going to learn to score. And you've got great instructors in this town, especially here, okay? Use them. Next time, take a short game lesson. Okay, do it.
Sure. How about weight distribution in the bunker?
Let's talk about that. The other thing, there's a couple other subjects. Weight distribution, wide stance. When you get into it, you want about 70% of your weight on your forward foot. You want to be pressing into this, like you're pressing into my knee here. Okay? Your forward foot wants to be a little bit out, so it helps you lean into this. If you watch Gary Player or Sebi or some of the greats, Sergio get in the bunker these days, their wide stance, their right foot is actually even back. What I was taught you have to have an open stance. You cut across it. Well, when you do that, you get side spin, and you start to get inconsistent depth, okay, of your penetration of the sand. So I like to even some drills. And one great drill is to move your right foot back. Just move it straight back. There you go. Now hit a shot with that. What this will do is shallow you out and show you can even release the ball the club head even more. Ball position is forward. It's not off your left heel. It's actually in the middle of your left thigh. You can get the ball too far forward, which I think is the case here. Okay? And that's why he hit that one too far. Nice.
That's gonna have some spin.
No, I've seen your... Now you weren't aiming at the one on the left. Definitely not. But that's beautiful. So I think on the first one that you hit too far, you just had the ball too far forward.
Yeah, and it really didn't feel right. And I think that's the biggest thing in the bunker too, is that setup kind of dictates everything.
That's
really
right.
not too much to think
So
about.
what you want to do in a bunker, widen your stance, get your base, and you really want this. This is not moving like your big swing. This is staying in place. This is creating a base in which to release the club head into the sand. Okay.
And then the one last piece I'll ask you about is shaft lean, that we talked about a little bit at address.
Okay. So this is the shot on the left is rather short. So you really want to have as much loft as you can so you can open it up. But I would like to even put your hands behind the ball a little bit on the shorter shots. Okay. And that'll create more loft. The other thing you can do when you want to really hit it high, get a little further away from the ball and lower your hands so you can see I'm creating a lot of loft on that club. Okay? I get here and then I can pop. But you hear that sound? I'm just releasing that club head right in the sand and letting the bounce pop it up. It's as simple as that. Okay? Do you want to go in the rough?
Yeah, let's go rough.
I'm not going to follow that shot.
I'm ready now if you taught me to do it.
Beautiful. Okay, so once in a while you have rough here. So how do you, around the greens, right? You get buried in that rough. How do you hit that shot? Come on over and we'll show you.
No.
Let's get a nice,
Deep one.
yeah, just a standard.
That's what I
So
chip around here.
we're going to go at the first pin here. And what I like to do is just go ahead and hit a bunker shot. Okay? Hit about 3 inches behind the ball, open up the face. And if you can get, I think, within 10 feet, that's a great shot. You got to get it out of this lie, first of all. You don't want to leave it in the lie. That's why you want to go ahead and have some force on the shot.
Would you say 60 degree or 56? Or
I
what
would
you
take
do?
whatever your highest loft is.
Okay.
You want to get it out as fast as possible.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So
Same
that's
one?
a pretty decent lie. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's
I would hit a normal shot. Let's get you something that's a little.
Yeah, the ones that really hit.
Troy, do you want to do that one?
I have a bad wrist, you know. So this one, that's hard. So you're going to open it up and you have to go ahead and swing it a little bit.
So weight definitely,
Yeah.
and that helps everything go
And
down.
release the club behind the ball now. There you go.
Oh, yeah, try that.
Okay, the other thing, so it's a bunker shot. Go ahead and hit behind the ball, but go ahead and try to follow through. It's the force, and that loft will get the ball out. I would probably take a 56 degree, your middle wedge, do the same thing. It's going to run out, just like a bunker shot.
So same thing, open face, even a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, but I do it with a 56.
Gotcha.
The other thing, I don't know how much time we have. Go ahead and hit. Go ahead.
So far,
But this is a 58,
50,
I
this is a
think.
58. Yeah, this is that PM
But
design.
but go ahead and hit it. So you can get it out with a 58 pretty hard. Not an easy shot. That's why you got to practice it.
How about the flap shot that all
The flop shot? The flop shot out of just a line like this? Well, we were doing it up here, really. You got to rotate, and if you want to hit it really high, you just rotate a little bit more. Okay? Put the ball up in your stance, and go ahead and release the club.
Heads up over there, yeah. Just in case, yeah. The intern's fine. You can stand there. Pretty good.
Yeah. See, that was hit actually probably 2 inches behind that ball. Okay? That's fine. That's what you need to do. Very nice.
You don't want to do that in the fluff, right? Where the club is under the ball.
Well, if the ball is, you got to read the lie. So if you're in the rough, the ball is staying high in the rough. You can't dig after it. You'll. That's why that Mickelson wedge was designed with the higher toe. But you got to stay up and read the shot. You don't have to hit that bunker just when it's really down. The other thing I want to mention, if you have a uphill bunker shot or an uphill pitch, and I understand you have some conditions where you have tight lies. Does anybody like this shot?
Putter, yeah.
Putter.
I do.
Well, you have options. You know, your putter is a great one. Okay, your hybrid is a great one, or pitch and run, a 7-iron or something like that. Or if you use a pitch, if you have this lie, and you have to get over a bunker, okay, then you have to hit it over. Okay. So one of the things I suggest you try is when you address the ball, and typically you have on the surrounds, especially approaching the greens, they're uphill. Okay, and so when you have an uphill shot, I like to always have my spine perpendicular to the lie. And in bunkers, for sure, I want my spine perpendicular. Okay, even on an uphill, certainly on a downhill. So in a bunker downhill, I want as much loft as possible. Okay, it's a hard shot, but I still want to hit that 3 or 4 inches behind the ball. Okay, so to do that, that really helps me do that. If I have my weight normal or leaning into the hill on a downhill, I'm going to hit way behind the ball. So if I'm uphill here and my weight is forward, which is the tendency that you want, I'm going to be steep and I'm going to be using the leading edge. I won't be using the sole here. I want to put the sole on the ground, okay, just like that. And so to do that, if I lean back, okay, I'll have a better chance of doing that. If I lean forward, see that there wasn't much of any upset whatsoever. If I lean forward, then the leading edge gets into play. So what I would do here, especially in an uphill, instead of using a 60, go down to your middle wedge, which has a little bit more bounce, a little more forgiveness. Get your spine and let it go. Because of an uphill, you have 10-degree slope. 56 is now 66. Same thing in a bunker. Go down and loft on an uphill lie in a bunker. You don't have to swing as hard. Get it 4 inches behind the ball. Rotate just like we talked about. And you don't have to swing as hard. You never want to swing so hard that you come out of your spine angle. Okay? So you'll have really good results. Well, no. Well, you want to rotate your arms. If you take a big wrist cock or rest set or cock, you're going to be steeper. Okay. If you square your stance up to the line, okay, and swing around yourself, you should be fine. If you get another result of opening your stance is you get steeper. If you square your stance or even get a little closed, you'll swing around, you'll start getting shallower. But let your arms rotate. We have, well, if your turf conditions are like this and this, the bounce that we have is fine. The tour plays with the minimum of 8, and they go to about 12 degrees on their highest loft wedges, 58, 60s. They need that angle because they want that skid plate. Mickelson, as good as he is, he uses the lower one. He uses 8, but he releases. Okay, and he calls it hinging and holding. It's actually rotating and release, and then he holds. Okay? If you saw his Robota's CDs, which are really good. Okay? But he takes it, he rotates, then he releases, and then he holds the bounce on. No, he rotates. Well, what we have is between 8 and 12 on all our highest lofted, which is fine. We actually have a little bit more. We kind of we say 8, but this probably has 11. You need bounce. All the manufacturers do that. Truth in advertising.
So Roger, you got to spend some time with Mickelson, like you were saying, and there's a really cool video on, I think it's probably on YouTube or Callaway somewhere, where he hit a flop shot over your head. Can I try that with you?
Yeah, sure. So what I did with Phil, okay, I said, Phil, I put a club down like that, and I stood here. But the lie wasn't that good.
Really?
Yeah. It was kind of wet.
Maybe we'll have our interns
But
stand there.
the only problem was he was using a 60. And that's a 58.
Yeah, might clip your hat.
Right about here is here.
Gotcha.
Or I'll just do this. But yeah, one of the things we have on at Callaway, we have in our website, in there you can go into an area called Weducation, which I've done videos with, a lot of our pros, about 5 each. I just got done doing one with Tom Watson, which was really good. And I put them in situations and talk about the situation, so you're reading the lie, reading the shot that needs to be done, but they talk about it. I get out of the way, and it's really fun. And I did it with, about 10 of our guys, so there's a lot of video content. And I also did one with Peter Cowan, a great instructor in England, and he's marvelous. He's got the top, 8 out of 10 players, I think. I mean, including Matsuyama. Okay, he teaches everybody. On Callaway website. They're right there. You're looking at them right there. Unfortunately, you have to look at that guy once in a while. I apologize for that in advance. But that's Randy Peterson, our director of instruction. Great player and great instructor as well. So a lot of that's all free. Okay, but take some time. Take a little time in your own game when you get back home. Spend a little time. Phil Mickelson spends 50% of his time or more on a short game, 60%. Now he's fortunate he can go outside his back bedroom and there's some greens there. But any other questions? You have great instructors here. Use them. They're the great knowledge. Yes, sir. Release the club head. You're holding on. So what happens?
Don't bet Jamie this week. Don't bet him.